Hello, all you folks out there in YouTube land. Kage found me a challenge a little bit ago, issued by a creationist in a Google Plus thread concerning a misclaim by a blog site reporting that some work had been done comparing vertebrae from chimpanzees and humans that get slipped discs against humans that don't, and seeing some similarities. What the article in question got wrong was that it stated that we evolved from the chimps rather than an earlier common ancestor. Two words in the right place would have prevented this gaffe, but then I don't know anyone that doesn't screw something up every now and again. I've been guilty of it more than once myself. That's not what we're addressing today, however. This is about the challenge that was made in the thread. The individual in question made an utterly outrageous claim, and then demanded that we prove him wrong. It went something like this. Calling all atheists to my challenge. All the evidence only supports God and his worldview, and you cannot present any evidence that does not support God and his worldview. You atheists ask for evidence only to deny it. Now present the evidence that does not support God and his worldview to support your illogical bent. Kage wrote a partial response to that, and I'm going to read it verbatim in line with my thoughts on the matter. If you search for the text of Kage's response, the context is above it. That's not actually how it works. You're the one making the claim, you have to do the proving. It's our job to refute your evidence, and hence your claim. Strictly speaking, I don't need evidence that my viewpoint is correct, as I did not make that claim. I need only establish that your argument is flawed in some large way. The entire narrative of the Old Testament dies on the historical record, as does the story of the Passion of the Christ. The short version of that being that not one historical record of any of the events posited by this book of fairy tales has been found. There is, however, a large body of evidence that suggests it was business as usual in an alarmingly large number of places around the planet. During the year or so that the flood was reportedly going on, there's a significant written record from both Upper and Lower Egypt, as well as dense literate populations in the Indus Valley and China. There is also oral tradition in Australia and North America during that period. I can see where the Mesopotamians and the Egyptians might want to cover up involvement in some of these events, but not the Indus Valley civilization nor the early Chinese. They wouldn't have horses to even enter into the race. The native Aussie population and Native Americans even less so. Additionally, there's no evidence in the record for cultural resets in any of these places. Even if it were possible for a worldwide conspiracy like that between 4500 and 4300 BCE, there's not really a way to bring it off. Someone would have said something. Similarly, no records of Pharaoh and the entire Egyptian army dying under millions of metric tons of water. Or even that they'd gone missing. I don't care who you are, something like that would most certainly have been noted. If not by the Egyptians themselves, then by their enemies. Which then would have been well and truly noted in the archaeological record, as Egypt would have stopped existing without the ability to rally a defense. Besides which, if you look at the mythology of the surrounding area, Yahweh's original incarnation was in Mesopotamia, as one of the 100 sons of El. As the cultures that made up Mesopotamia were either assimilated or wiped out by the various warrior religions common at the time, including nascent Judaism, they were all slowly absorbed into Yahweh's mythos, including large portions of the Epic of Gilgamesh. If you compare Gilgamesh to the Bible, you start seeing some striking similarities. Almost like chunks of it were copied from the epic. Taking a leaf from the Jewish playbook in the 7th and 8th century CE, Muhammad assembled his own bastardization of Judaism based on what he knew from Jewish people he came in contact with during his long career as a merchant, and built Islam. He even insisted that the Jews and Christians of the day were, in fact, already following Allah, and were simply worshipping him wrong. For the record, Allah was the name of a moon god worshipped on the Arabian Peninsula at the time. It had nothing to do with Yahweh or the way it was revered by the Jews, and still the name was attached to Muhammad's version of Yahweh thereafter. Before you start harping on about how they're different deities, think about it. Abraham, Moses, Daniel, and Jesus are all mentioned in the Quran, as well as corrupted versions of their life stories. It's absolutely clear what the intent was there, and no Muslim theologian would dispute me on it. They do dispute the divinity of Jesus, whom they renamed Isa, but nothing else. What does that suggest to you? To me, it suggests that one of us is very wrong, and I doubt very much it's me. I haven't even touched your claim that the entire body of human knowledge is evidence of your magic sky fairy, as that's demonstrably wrong. All of the facts and observations on which modern science rests were done without the assistance of any such creature. All of the theories on which we base every scrap of the technology we rely on every day operate without it. If progress can be made without the need for such a creature, then why should we operate as if one exists? Until there is verifiable evidence of magic sky fairies, then I'm going to work from the premise that it either doesn't exist or never did.